Hey, we'd like to welcome you to the show today. This is Sandra Johnson. I'm here with my husband, Ramon Smith. Say hi.
Hello.
And our guest host, Pastor John McLean.
Oh, I love being here. You guys always make me feel so welcome. Like I'm like another member of the family.
You are.
You are. Yeah.
You are. Thanks. Hey, well.
I'm a crazy uncle.
We'll give you that.
Yeah.
Today on our show, we have Michael Oakland, a master inspector with Horizon Inspections, and his son Luke with us. And then the second half of the show, we're going to want you to stay tuned because we have Ramon Gandarse with the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days. So you'll want to make sure and be around for that. So, Michael, how are you doing?
I think I'm doing pretty well. If I was doing any better, I'd have to be Ray.
Yeah, I get it. 100%.
Did we mention any today that Luke's here also?
Yes, good to hear you guys.
Absolutely.
The young Jedi
The team's here.
So I know Raymond wanted to start the show asking a little bit about, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but we got an intense amount of rain yesterday. We got some hail. I thought we were the ones in the hurricane. And so is there anything that you would suggest homeowners go out and check on after having that kind of torrential rain? I know for us, we have 3 12-inch culverts that go through our driveway. They were running at capacity yesterday. So
yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say the easiest one is don't check your roof systems when it's still raining and lightning because you don't want to turn into a human lightning rod. We had to get off the roof pretty fast yesterday because it's like we should get off this roof right now. I would check the gutters. Like that particular house we were looking at yesterday during the storm had full gutters. I mean, we're talking full to overflowing. It was really bad, and it's not. That doesn't take that long to clean gutters. So
right.
Take care of that. If you don't, you're gonna probably ruin your fascia board and your eaves.
Yeah.
How often do you think you should check your gutters? Once a quarter, or just once a month, or before the rain? Or?
Around, depending on how close vegetation is. If you got trees that are right on the gutters and they're just dumping debris all the time, probably once a month. Other than that, it's pretty easy around here. It's Tucson, so I mean, your low-hanging bushes and tumbleweeds are not going to bother your gutters most of the time.
I was going to say, Raymond, we were out watching the sunset one night, and he noticed that our gutters were pulling away from the fascia boards, and so he got up to clean them, and they were full of granular off the roof. Well, our roof was only about 10 years old, and we had a 20-year product, so we called out. Roof Tech actually is the one that came out and took a look at the roof, and he said, you guys have maybe 2 years left, but you need to call your insurance company because this is hail damage. Had it not been for the gutters pulling away because of the weight of all the granular that came off, and then once it got wet, it just got very heavy, we would have no idea that we had hail damage on our roof because it wasn't visible from the ground.
Yeah, and the gutters are kind of your catch-all, for no pun intended, for the granular material flowing off. If you have a lot of it, like I've taken pictures of the what feels like piles, like a sandbox. There's just piles of it in the gutter, and you're like, wait a second. Turns out in that case, the seller was really mad at me for noticing that. And he's like, "This is a 50-year roof. I've got all this time left on it." He goes, "I pressure wash the thing every year," and my brain just went, "Oh no, you've artificially aged your roof. You've destroyed it." So he didn't realize that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So we're saying that do not pressure wash your roofs.
Do not pressure wash an asphalt shingle roof.
Check.
You guys hearing that?
Great advice there.
Okay. Well, Luke, I'm glad to have you here. A question I have for you, you guys support a lot of Tucson. What other areas of Tucson do you guys support?
We do a lot of we've done a lot of work in the surrounding areas, but pretty much all of Tucson. We do Vail, Green Valley, Arizona, Marana. That was the other one. We've done one in Benson. We don't do a lot of work out there really though. But we service a lot of Northwest and Northeast and West Side Tucson as well.
What about Red Rock?
We've done Red Rock before too. Yeah, it's a longer of a drive. A lot of realtors don't really call us from that far because it's quite a far drive, and usually we have a small fee we charge if we drive that far.
That's good to know that there's a fee if you have to go extra mile.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is if we have to drive more than an hour one way to get to the site, we'll probably have a modest upcharge just to take care of gas.
Stupid question.
And I'm gonna direct this question back to Luke because he looks like a bright, handsome young man. So, is there a differential between like handling the Northwest or maybe when you go down to Benson and kind of the different type of material, different type of construction, and like, are you finding kind of different problems in one place in comparison to another?
I'd say kind of more like the Benson area. I've only been there. Granted, I've only been there a few times. My father's more of the one who did the inspections there, but it's kind of more the rural areas. You have a lot more vegetation, so you have a lot. You also have a lot more wildlife. When you head kind of more of the southeastern direction, you run into a lot of the wildlife and the grass and kind of some other things, and the materials may be different because that area of Benson area is not necessarily a higher end, I guess you could call.
Yeah.
Northwest Tucson is mostly a lot of higher end homes, like when you get into Marana. So you're looking at a lot of more like tile roofs, concrete tile, stucco. One of the ones we did in Benson was like LP siding and wood siding and then asphalt shingles. So it's a lot more, I'd say, lower tier, doesn't last as long. The service life of the materials is a lot less. So I'd say the maintenance and kind of the different things you do there is a little different.
Yeah.
So yes.
It was that stupid question I was going to ask. Whether or not you guys are certified in the state of Arizona, so you can actually go to Phoenix and to Flagstaff and inspect homes.
Yeah, so I'll take that one. My certification is, statewide, technically, nationally. I'm InterNACHI certified, so that means the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. So the states that don't have a licensure requirement, my certification would cover me.
Oh, okay.
So Montana, for example, doesn't have a license requirement. But states like Washington State, they recognize InterNACHI's training, but you still have to get approved in Washington State for their specific license.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know, actually, talking about certification is important. So as a home inspector, why don't you talk our listeners through the process that you went through to become a home inspector, and then that extra layer of credentials that you carry by being a certified inspector with
Sure.
NACHI.
And explain it all in a
InterNACHI.
minute.
Okay. All right. So it's certified in Washington State. So I went to a qualifying education state there through Washington State of an approved curriculum. Then got certified with InterNACHI, which is based out of Colorado. Then I got certified in Arizona through a separate school in Phoenix, which is covered by ASHI. It's a different organization, trade organization. And of course, the certified master inspector is a separate entity, but you have to be in the business for a minimum amount of time and have to do at least 1,000 inspections, bunch of continuing education before you can
You've done
qualify.
1,000 inspections?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I stopped counting at 1,000. I don't know how many it's been.
So are you still qualified in Washington and Colorado?
My license in Washington has expired, but it would be easy to renew it if I ever wanted to. But I don't have any desire to go back.
What's the renewing process?
Well, in Washington, you have to show a certain number of continuing education credits. In InterNACHI, it's pretty much the same thing. So they kind of like, Washington State looked at how other trade organizations were keeping their guys smart, and they're like, yeah, we like that. We'll do that.
Okay.
And so it's just continuing education.
Awesome. Well, we are heading into the break. So when we come back, we'll pick up the conversation with Michael and Luke from Horizon Inspections, and we will see you on the other side.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to sound like my wife. Hey, we're back to the show. Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with the Master Inspector, Michael Oakland, and his son,
That's
Luke.
a cool
Michael
title.
Jokeland. No.
I'm jealous.
It's
Master Inspector of the World.
Does that come with a cape? That's a great
Apparently,
question.
It should.
Apparently,
If it
I'm
doesn't,
Luke's
it should.
father, so I'm the Sith Lord.
Yeah.
And I get to wear the Luke.
I am your father.
We're having too much fun now. I see the meter going off.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if
Yeah.
Raven's going to recover from this one.
Okay.
It's okay.
Getting back to the show.
Yeah, we do a
These
radio
guys are
show,
hilarious.
it turns out.
You inspect older home and newer homes. Give me a difference of what you find out when you inspect those kind of inspections.
Nope, I have a prejudice against older homes. Won't do it.
Okay.
Totally kidding. No, seriously. Older
They
homes.
do take longer, though, don't they?
They do take longer. Like, I actually pulled Luke out of the mold and asbestos remediation industry. So he was doing new construction. He was working with construction crews, and he was the guy doing like the projectile anime sweat, pulling out like asbestos. And
Oh, my
it's just
goodness.
awful.
Oh yeah.
So I
So
was
that's
like,
what that blotch is on your. No.
No.
Probably is.
yeah, he's got another arm growing out of his shoulder.
Yeah, what is that
No, the,
ear coming from?
But yeah, I think older homes, you just have to be more aware of wiring, electrical systems, asbestos content, or at least what you call suspected asbestos material. Other than that, lead-based paint. Other than they're very similar. Some of the foundation systems are different. Plumbing materials different. Like today, probably the gold standard for plumbing material is like PEX. They call it cross-linked polyethylene pipe. There's your $10 word for the day. Cross-linked polyethylene.
Okay.
Apparently,
Yeah,
it wasn't as fun as loquacious or one of the other words.
Write
But
it down.
wasn't quite as exciting. As
No,
that
you got to
Can
come
you
with another.
spell it?
That one
That's
doesn't
the
do.
real question.
IT. There you go.
Yeah. Well done.
I spelled it.
Yeah.
Newer homes are. What are you looking for in newer homes that are so different from younger homes?
Yeah, anything post 2008 and maybe even 2014, the electrical panels have almost exclusively arc fault breakers. They got a lot more expensive. I'd say the underlayment system's a little bit different. Sometimes you have the plumbing material's different. You're far less likely to see leaks unless there's something just really installed wrong.
Right.
But I'd say new construction is just way. It's easier to hide mistakes with new construction because the finishes are so much more forgiving.
Okay.
You'll see a lot more cosmetic issues. Like almost everybody's windows today, new construction is insulated, multi-pane windows. Older homes, you have single pane glass. Things are going to shatter and turn into like a horror scene. So yeah, you got to just be aware of that.
So each decade kind of has its own issues. I feel like if someone's looking at an older home from the 20s, let's say 20s to 30s, typically what is the biggest concern that they may see on an inspection report?
Yeah, I'd probably say, again, we go back to electrical and maybe even framing type. 20s and 30s, we're probably talking balloon style construction. The framing is very few, if any, fire stops. The electrical systems tend to be the old school, the old knob and tube, or somebody called K&T wiring. Fuse panels were just really antiquated systems. But even like when you see those homes now, it's still kind of uncommon to see the old fuse panels. They'll typically have upgraded at some point to a regular breaker box.
And then moving into, say, 40s, 50s, and 60s, I think cast iron plumbing comes to mind
exactly.
for me.
That's another one. Yeah, sometimes you'll see the old, since I don't do anything underground with cameras, I don't have like the sewer scope cameras, but you can get the old clay lined, or you can even have this asbestos, like cement fiber asbestos pipe. So some of your main drain system vent stacks that you might see at a roof is the old asbestos containing clay. So building materials weren't, what they were, or the old snakeskin style Romex. It's another one.
And when I think of that, it's almost like back when they used to think the planet was flat. I mean, when they were using all this asbestos materials back in the day in building.
That's so funny.
Mind-boggling.
I'm pretty sure that members of the Flat Earth Society have chapters, I think, all around the globe.
Yeah. And so does asbestos as well.
Fair assessment.
Sorry. I couldn't help it.
So
if you're a flat earther, I apologize. Kind of.
You're still our friends. We just
Yes.
may not agree with you on all points.
We see, I'm going to say for me, from a real estate perspective, if you're looking at 80s and 90s, probably the ductwork and the polybutylene
yes.
piping are things that we would commonly see in that age of a house.
Yeah, polybutylene, pretty much, I think they stopped manufacturing it in 1996. So if the house, whenever I get to a house and I look at the year built, if it's 1996 to the early 80s, I'm a little concerned about polybutylene plumbing being potentially still on site.
Okay. And what about newer construction? What would you say are the biggest things that you run into on something that's going to be around 2000 and newer?
Ooh, there's going to be fewer of them, but because what I try to do is I try to be fair to whatever building standard was in place. So say by 2001, 2002, if a water heater is there and it has an open style combustion chamber, I typically would want to see that replaced with a newer unit that's got an what they call an FVIR rated or flammable vapor ignition resistant combustion chamber.
How do you keep all the information inside your head?
I don't. Luke's
Okay.
job is to
Okay.
help
Very
push
cool.
data back in my ear when it starts to
Makes
leak
sense.
out.
Yeah.
So,
That's why you guys are such a great team.
Put, like little rolls in the back seat and just like feed it to them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Put
It
that
makes
back
sense
in
to me.
So I feel like just in having a conversation with you, it
Yeah.
really shows the depth of knowledge that you do have and what you're bringing to the table. But how does a consumer then differentiate when they are in the process? Most people don't have 2 or 3 home inspectors that they know, and they're
yeah.
kind of
I
just
hear you.
picking someone that's either recommended to them or maybe somebody they find online. What would you say is a way for them to differentiate what the service that you provide with someone who maybe isn't providing that same quality of service?
Yeah, I'd probably say the quality control metric, first and foremost, would be check out if you can get a hold of a sample report, just look at one.
Yeah.
I would try to avoid service providers that are doing what I call a checkbox or kind of like a fast food report,
Uh-huh.
where it's just inspected. Just checkbox all the way down all the different systems, and they're not saying anything. So that's my biggest gripe is when an inspection company is focused more on efficiency and speed and getting as many appointments done as they can,
Right.
and not as much on quality.
What do you think, Luke? You agree?
Yeah, I really one of our major things is we try to keep a fair, honest amount of efficiency, but also quality to customers and people that we work for. We want to keep the evidence and things that we do find honest, but not over exaggerate, but also not underplayed either.
Right.
So just informing people what they have.
How do we get a hold of you guys?
Smoke signals, carrier pigeon works.
Hold on, let me write those things down.
Yeah, okay. 520-330-9703 is our direct cell number to me. You can also get us on our website at horizoninspectionsllc.com. Check us out on Google. We're in the Vail area, so if you wanted to check out our Google reviews, we got a bunch of 5-star reviews stacking up.
When you first came on and we mentioned it, how long have you guys been in business?
I'd say November 2014, but I think my first real full month was January 2015. Yeah.
All right. We will be back after the break. We appreciate both of you, Michael and Luke, for being here and sharing your expertise with us. And when we come back, we'll learn a little bit about the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days. So stay with us.
Johnson with Indy Realty.
Welcome back to the show. We've never really, I don't think we've actually said this out loud yet, but when we are preparing these shows, we like to start out with a real estate piece and then follow up with someone from the community, nonprofit, someone who's contributing to quality of life in Tucson. So today we have Ramon Gandarse, who's here with the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days, and they're getting ready to have their big annual event. And so we've invited him to come and kind of get us caught up on that.
Thank you. It's good to see you guys.
Hey,
So good
we
to see
love
you,
having
Ramon.
you here.
This is a nice break in the middle of
Here
my.
I am.
nice break for my middle of the day.
Yeah.
That's our plan, Ramon.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Well, I happened to see on Facebook that you made a post saying that you were just invited to join JTED on their foundation board. And so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited about joining their board. They're changing their board, and so they're looking for more private sector folk. And of course, construction is one of many things that they do. So I'm glad to represent the industry to share my knowledge.
And is that a connection that you made through your involvement with the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days?
Yeah, absolutely. Since 2014, I've been working with JTED very closely with our event, with Career Days, and then some of the things that they have going on. And so it was a perfect marriage, really, and then working with some of the staff there for all these years. And so it was brought to my attention they were looking for some folks and asked me to participate. And it took me a second to absolutely say yes because I love that kind of stuff. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't take much.
I think that they made an excellent choice.
Agreed.
And that
Agreed.
they're lucky to have you. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thanks.
You have an update for us on, first of all, tell
Yeah.
our listeners kind of what you're doing with the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days.
So the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days was formed in 2014 under a different association, which was of heavy civil contractors, but reaching out to the other construction industry related associations and private sector. We created this association, which is founded to increase career awareness to, at the time, high school students. We shifted, and I say at the time because only a couple years ago we went to 8th graders. But the whole premise is the career awareness, but not just through paperwork or let's show up to a company's office. It is about hands-on experience physically for the students to participate. So that could include actually getting on a paving machine or a backhoe, or working with Tucson Water and some of their pipes, or Southwest Gas and Tucson Electric Power and hammers and nails, and actually doing things on site. And so we treat it just like a regular construction site. The kids get hard hats and all this fun stuff, but the premise is really about that career awareness through hands-on experience.
I think that's awesome because I don't know about my other co-hosts here how you guys feel, but I think there are a lot of things that you would just think, especially as a middle school or high schooler, I could never do that. And they probably can. They just didn't know what that meant, what that job title means.
Yeah, I can tell you from my experience working with the students for all these years that it's about inspiring the kids to believe that they can do it, right? Because a lot of folks, like you just said, don't realize, the students don't realize they can. They're just afraid to do it. So if you give them an opportunity to chase it, they may want to see it. That's why the hands-on experience is really the clutch, because then they can really get involved in it. And then, of course, they get to talk with the career professionals, and then the teachers get to talk with the professionals, and it's a great networking tool as well amongst all of us. So it's really a win-win situation for the entire community.
The thing I love about it is that it's a career. You don't sit there and say, well, we're just trying to get you out here for a day. No, this can be a career. A lot of people won't understand that construction is a career. There's a lot of good people out there making great livings with their family, taking care of great families with construction. I just want to hear you let the people know that there's nothing wrong with that to be a career in construction. Yeah,
it's obviously the biggest hurdle we have, right? The premise of construction is bad work. Well, yeah, let's be honest. Construction may not be the prettiest of work, but it is a hard-working career, and for that, people get awarded for that, whether through good company benefits and good pay, right, or the ability to start your own company for that matter. So I think it's definitely something we struggle with, getting moms and dads to realize that. But once you do and you start sharing, where you can start and where you can finish and how you get through there and how many years. Talked to a teacher earlier this week, and she was asking about her son, who wanted to get into operating equipment. And 18 out of high school or 17 out of high school, I said, you're not going to be able to do that right away. It's going to take a couple of years before you get there, but it certainly beats the 4 years of maybe going to college, getting debt, and then having to pay that back. Now they can get right into the workforce. So absolutely, very rewarding job.
Yeah, I think that debt is a huge piece, especially for students that aren't 100% sure of the career path that they want to go on. And so maybe they're 2 or 3 years in wondering, what was I thinking? I know my first trade school, actually, I went to, I realized after going there for a year that I did not want to sit at a computer. That's what I learned. Right. And so I think it's great what you're doing and the exposure it gives, but also the hands-on experience. Yeah,
it keeps growing and growing, and so we're really happy to do it.
And Ramon, I want people to realize is that you're not deterring people from college. You're just saying, what? Some people just may want to go and do this for a couple of years and then decide, what? I want to go to college now. But guess what? Now you have 2 years of job experience under your belt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went to college. Okay, so bear down, right? So,
okay.
So absolutely, we're not deterring them. And in fact, there are some jobs and careers that students will have to seek a higher education.
Yes.
But a lot of the things that we do here at the event does not, and that's okay too. And so there's definitely a good blend between the two of them, and for students to see, maybe I do want to get a higher education, or maybe I just need the trade, and get some skill for a couple years through, either JTEDS or Pima Community College or wherever there are programs.
They just need to see you guys, I think. They just need to see the faces of the people who are doing the work. That's what they don't see, and that you guys are successful.
Yeah, we absolutely are trying to make it a point that the students, educators can work with the professionals and get a real hands-on job site experience to visually see those things.
Yeah, we're here with Ramon Gandarse, who is the founder of the Southern Arizona Construction Career Day. We'll be back a little bit more with him. While I have you, if you are looking to buy or sell your home or have any questions concerning real estate, we would love to help. Please call Sandra at 520-850-1725 or Raymond at 520-904-7711. You are listening to the I Am Real Estate Show on The Voice, KBOI 1030 AM radio.
Hey, we are back on the air. We're here with Ramon Gandarse with Southern Arizona Construction Career Days. So tell us a little bit about the event this year. What day is it?
So this year's events are going to be November 2nd and 3rd, hosting it at the Keno Sports Complex, not at the in the ballpark. It's north of the ballpark on there was a paved lot and some sand over there. So we're going to utilize their beautiful lot over there. We're super excited. So November 2nd and 3rd is our days.
And how many students do you have registered right now?
Actually, as of today, I believe I just hit 2,000.
Wow.
And 2,000's actually lower than where we were in 2019. I got to be honest. And the challenge has been COVID still, but bus drivers.
Wow.
And so that has been a really big deterrent to this year's event. But we're still, whether it was 2,000, 4,000, or 1,000, we still go 100% with all our volunteers and all our sponsorship. Nothing changes.
Yeah, and I don't want to put us in a time machine to last segment, but something that really kind of all last segment, I didn't have a smart aleck comment to make because I was just in such awe to what you've put together, just because there's just such a big need in our society. I think we've met and spoke about this, and training people in these different things, because we have such a big labor shortage across the board. And you mentioned how this isn't an exclusion to college. This is in conjunction, particularly if that's your pathway. And I not only do I agree with that, the news kind of recently, the Gospel Rescue Mission, along with Pima Community College, have created a training program for the homeless population that are going through their shelter, along with the Pima Community College, and funded by Bert Lopez. So, it's definitely, I love what you're doing, because it's put in another tool in their toolbox rather than saying, hey, this is the only tool. Just like a lot of people think that college is the only way, but there's a lot of different options and advancing in life. Definitely being a military vet, another option that people have.
Yeah, I think if I go back to 2014 and let you know about all the partnerships and the different avenues there were for training, it's nothing like it is today. Today is just, there's so many groups, like you just mentioned, as a great example. And so that's just great to see that there's more and more of this, because I think people recognize that there is a need, and there is a shortage, and there will be a shortage as we move forward. So the need is going to be, even greater as we move in the next couple of years.
And hopefully, as you're reaching out to the younger population and offering those opportunities, they will have something that I believe construction careers are always going to be there.
Yes, we're always going to need it. We're always, right? And people are like, well, isn't there things going to be autonomous? Well, someone still has to be behind something in order for something to move, right? So whether it's here or actually on a piece of equipment, yes, there's always going to be the need for it. So construction, obviously, to your point, it's here to stay. So we gotta cherish it more and bring light to it to our younger generation for sure. And as you had mentioned earlier, it's not just personal; it's professional, and it's our society at the same time, and building a better community.
Yes, sir. We love that. We love what you're doing. One thing I was thinking about is that now that you're starting and you're going through your process of getting this event going, How is you going with volunteers? Or you need volunteers? Or?
So we always need volunteers. So I expect the three
See
of
that
you there,
softball?
right? Yeah.
Nice.
Wait,
The
we're
three.
signed up.
I'm gonna. Good. So yeah, we have a link. You can go to our website at saccd.org, and you can find the volunteer link there, and then you can see all the different areas and times and kind of a description of what we need. And then, so yeah, I think I equated about 135 to 140 each day of volunteers, and that's just helping with getting the lunches or the hard hats cleaned or whatever. It's not including all the booths and vendors. That's a whole separate volunteer aspect.
Mm.
Is there a minimum age requirement for someone, like if there are youth groups or younger people that wanted to come and bring their organization to work? Are there jobs for them, or do you really need people that are over, say, the age of 18 or 21?
We prefer somebody over the age of 18
Okay.
or older, but that doesn't mean if you're younger and you're with mom and dad, absolutely we'd love to have you there.
Okay.
We talking about the SACCD, SADD. That's what I call it now.
Okay.
And we love the fact that you're doing this, Ramon. And if you don't know who we're talking to, we're talking to Ramon Gandarse, who is the founder of the Southern Arizona Construction Career Days. But he also has a full-time job as a,
Yes, I'm the Chief Information Officer with Tucson Asphalt.
and he's also a U of A alumni.
Bear down.
Go Cats! You're doing a great job. And how's the funding going for you so far?
So I think the last time I was here, I think it was somewhere around 80. I don't remember exactly.
We were
I remember, and I was like,
We were
I was
under.
under 100.
Yeah.
Today I'm at $126,000 raised. And I'm still working on a few sponsors in our community that are still reaching out to us. We're nearing our deadline right now, so
Uh-huh.
it's always fun to get the last minute folks in there. So I'm working on that still, and so we're I mean, it's the most money we've raised in all the years we've had this, and I think that just goes to show what we've been doing this entire 9 years, and I'm really, really thankful to each and every one like yourselves that work on our planning committee to help spread the word and get the opportunity in our contractor's hand to participate.
I asked this selfishly, but something that comes to mind, you do this event annually, and it's just such an amazing event. Has the consideration of doing it more regularly come to mind, and what does that look like?
If you're playing in it, I'll let you do it as much as you want.
Yeah, I guess we talked about it during the breakout.
We did.
Like, there's a lot that goes
Because
into it.
we literally start planning in January, and the event's in November.
Yeah.
So think I only get a month off, and the first few months are the easier months. Don't get me wrong, but I think no, we have it, a lot of it's because of the schedule of the students and testing. So the November is kind of a sweet spot to where the more of the school districts are available to participate. So we've looked at moving it in the spring and things like that. It just doesn't pencil out. However, what we're trying to do now is to plan other type of events, and maybe not just for the students. Maybe it's for the educators. Maybe it's seminars. Maybe it's even doing training for the kids that participate. We got a lot of folks that.
That's what I was trying to get out of you.
So a lot of folks come to me and say, "How can I provide them training?" So our company that we use at Tucson Asphalt for insurance, Crest Insurance, they offer to provide 10-hour training for the students, and so we're going to try to figure out ways to partner and do other things that are related to the construction, but not specifically to the events.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
You're getting close to the event, and so the thing is that is everything coming together, or everything's coming together? You get the building setting up. Are your locations good? Is all your processes going through? There's nothing that's holding you up?
so nothing's holding me up. Actually, this morning we had to submit our traffic control plan because obviously we want street signs out on the perimeter of the property, so buses know where to go, the volunteers know where to go. So we need signs. It takes permits to do that.
Yeah.
So we just submitted all our stuff this morning. So that's in the works. I got a meeting tomorrow morning with Pima County on site to go through every other little details that we need to figure out. So like restrooms and whatever else. So there's a litany of things that we have, and so I'm down to 4 weeks before this event occurs, and a lot will happen within the next 4 weeks. So we're still drafting the map. We have got one. Well, this is the first draft, but I think we're already on maybe 3 or 4.
And how large is that work site that you're
It's large.
Easy.
I don't know the acreage on there honestly, but I'm looking at this map and it's we've already probably went 25% more than what we had in the years past. So that's good. There's a lot of property there, so let's just sky's the limit.
Right. Is it too late for schools to participate at this point?
No, it's not too late. We'll all take them up to the very last minute, but we prefer to have them registered by the end of the first week of October, and that's just because we have to get shirts and these food and all these other things to match up with that. So we certainly will take students up to the last minute, and we reach out to not just all the major school districts, but also charter schools and even home schools and second chance opportunity schools. So we have a lot of I think right now we have about 54 different schools participating.
Wow.
That covered the 2,000 students. So that just goes to show you where we are in terms of the reach in our community.
Have you sat down and calculated how many man hours go into the planning for this
Are you trying to make
two-day
him
event?
cry? You're trying to make the man cry
I'm
on
trying to
radio.
show that
I
this
see.
is a big thing.
Yeah, I can
Done.
see it.
You see
Yeah,
that?
yeah. It started turning a little red.
No, I have not, and you know why? I'm scared to be
For sure.
I'm scared, and if I
Yeah.
tell my planning group, what that would be,
Yeah.
I'd probably scare them too. So.
Yeah, they can't
No,
afford you.
no.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, running a
so-
nonprofit myself. Yeah, if I were to calculate the amount of hours that I don't pay myself, I would probably be crying with you. We'd
Yeah.
have to hold each other and console each other.
I thank Tucson Asphalt for allowing me the time to do it too.
Yeah, that's
that's
awesome.
the best part of it all is that I've had the great support by my own
Yes.
company, and they're going to participate too this year for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So that's really cool. So we're planning our own little area and get some of the guys out in the field to be able to participate with and interact with the students.
That's awesome. We can't say enough how much we appreciate what you're doing, investing in the young people in Tucson and giving them opportunities that they might not otherwise have. And this is a pretty unique event too. Is anyone doing it to the level that you're doing this?
So, Phoenix has a similar program, very different model and setup. But yes, for us, we feel in Tucson, it's definitely the only type of event that happens this way. Now, there's some others out there that have come on board since, and we're really excited and support those too. But definitely, we were kind of the first.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
We want to thank our sponsors, Horizon Inspections, Indy Realty, Inspired Life Mortgage, Arizona Sands Club, Rego Pest Prevention, Atomic Nutrition, and Sweet Little Chefs. We hope to have you back next week. And say goodbye, Raymond.
Goodbye, Raymond.
Yeah.
Bye, Ray.